Stop watching and manifesting videos. Stop binge watching content on 15 different topics. If you're going to watch something, watch it intently. Focus. Hyper focus brings results. If you can hyper focus on one subject, like my videos on robotic affirmation, you can see the one up here, or see the one at the end screen. If you watch these robotic affirmation videos, you can learn more about robotic affirmation and become an expert at robotic affirmation. I'm not saying you should be an expert at one thing, but at least hyper focus for X amount of days. Don't hyper focus on 15 different things, because that's not hyper focusing. You're going to learn this about that, then this about that, then Neville Goddard says this, then Sammy Ingram says this, and then I say this, then this person says this, then all these techniques are going to take you forever to master. Instead, guys, learn this first. Robotic affirming is the #1 technique, so learn that first. Then you can learn about the I am state. Then you can learn about scripting. Then you can learn about the 369 method and how to use that in your scripting practice. Then you can learn about meditative states. Then you can learn about subliminal messages and recording tapes. But you want to be a master at a bunch of these things. The key is to be a master at a bunch, because then you're going to find out real fast what works best for you. Because what works best for you might work good today, but what happens next month, or the month after that, or the month after that, when robotic affirming is, not working for the certain thing you want, like it's taking a little too long. You want to throw another technique at it. You're not going to be able to throw another technique at it if you're not learning and becoming an expert in many different techniques, because you're going to be too stuck on one thing, or too stuck on many things. That's even worse than being a master at one thing. It'll be okay if you're just a master at robotic affirming, because it'll work most of the times. It'll work 5 times out of 10, and then the 5 times it doesn't work, it's fine. At least you manifested 5 other things. You can be happy with that. But if you're a master at 10 different things, or if you are learning 10 different things because you're hyper focusing days at a time on each subject, you'll be able to work at the 5 extra things you couldn't manifest with robotic affirming, and you can crack away at multiple things. The reason you're not getting where you want to get is because you're splitting your attention. Social media is eating away at you. It's so easy to get lost in the algorithm, get lost in the content. This guy says this thing, then this guy says this thing. Oh, I want to learn about this. I want to learn about this. I want to learn about that. No, hyper-focus. Hyper-focus on robotic affirming. Hyper-focus on meditative states. Hyper-focus on the I am state. Hyper-focus on these subjects. Then when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, after you hyper-focus on robotic affirming for 3 to 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, a week, then you can switch over and watch this content, hyper-focus on that. But I do not want you to switch over unless you start practicing it. It takes at least 3 days. It takes at least 3 days for most manifesting techniques to even have a dent on your subconscious. Sure, robotic affirming can work faster if you do 24-hour robotic affirming, like the video I have in the little tab up there. The 24-hour robotic affirming method. It will work in 24 hours. That's the fastest method. Obviously, there's faster methods, but this is like the fastest method that can work for the most people at most times in most situations. Other things, you have to be really good at this and be, extra good at manifesting to maybe make this thing work. No, 24-hour robotic affirming works. You can get it, watch it, get the job done in 24 hours. And then you can move on to something else, because now you at least implemented something. Don't move on to 10 different subjects if you're not even implementing the thing. Implementation is key. If you're not implementing these techniques, you're not going to get anywhere with this. Practice. If you can't practice, that's why they say practice makes perfect. You need to practice each and every technique to see what works for you. And in order to practice each and every technique, sometimes you need to manifest and practice for 30 days on one subject. I'm not saying you can't mix it up and watch other things, but you don't want to lose focus and try to practice 7 different techniques at once. Hyper focus on the one. You can watch a few extra videos here and there and maybe try out a different thing here and there. But if you're going to hyper focus on one, try that one out for however many days it takes you to make it work. And if you can make it work, move on to the next one. If you can't make it work, come back to it. All right, I'll put a check mark here. I'll come back to Robotic Affirmation. It didn't work this time. It didn't work on this date, but maybe it works next week or next month. I'll come back to it. Let me just move on to something else. Maybe this will be easier for me. Maybe my brain works better with scripting. Maybe my brain works better with subliminals. Maybe my brain needs all three of them in a mixture, because some people need that. But you still need to implement. Find a practice, find a routine. You're not going to find a practice, you're not going to find a routine if you're throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall, because you won't know what worked. This is how experimentation is done. Like, look at the elimination diet for people with bad stomachs. They need to eliminate things, eliminate everything, then slowly add stuff back into the diet to find out what works. This is the same thing you need to do with manifestation. You want to find out what works for you and what kind of mood you are in. Because sometimes, this time of year, this works for you. And then next year, this is not going to work for you the same way this worked for you before. So you need to be a master at many different things. And you need to be a master at knowing yourself. That's the whole point of my coaching program. I'm there to help you know yourself and know what works for you. Because if we can figure out what works for you at certain points in your life, we can figure out what blocks you from making extra money in your business. We'll take you from $10K a month to $100K a month. We'll take you from $100K a month to $250K a month. And in order to do that, we need to find out what's blocking you. Is it your techniques? Is it what you're doing? Are you doing too much? Are you not specializing? Or is your negative beliefs holding you back? How do we get rid of your negative beliefs? Are we going to use this technique? Is this going to help your brain better than it will help mine? Is this the best thing that will work for you? That's what my job is. That's my number one job now. I don't even like running my other businesses, my 3 other businesses and my other job I got. I don't even like that anymore. I like coaching people. That's my number one thing now. And I am getting pretty good at it. So leave me a comment and I'll try to send you my WhatsApp link if I have it up and running. But I do have a phone number. I'm not giving it out again, because I have a lot of backlog of clients that I need to work with. I can't take on more right now. But when I can, I will post a pinned comment so you guys can text me. But for now, I can't take on any more clients. I'll see you guys in the next video. I want to keep this one really short. I just wanted to make sure you guys know, implement, specialize, implement. Stop watching, stop binge watching, stop switching up content, just switching up gurus. Stick to someone, stick to specialization, figure out what works for you. Then if this works for you, you can add on to it. Now you can build your recipe. Now you can get better and build a whole holistic thing. Make sure you watch the video in the pinned comment. Make sure you watch the video in the next up, because this is the type of content you need to binge watch. If you want to be good at robotic affirming, which I'm telling you is the best of the best. It's the number one technique that works for the most people. There's no questions asked. The I am state, the living in the end, they're good and they're great. But for beginners, for people that need the extra push, robotic affirming is where it's at. It's going to work for the most amount of people at the most amount of times. I'll see you guys in the next video. Watch the videos that I have posted here, and peace off.